Hi everyone, welcome to Smack Reviews. If you love our honest reviews, smack that subscribe button so you never miss out. I don't think It or Pennywise really needs much of an introduction. When most people think of clowns, especially scary ones, the first name that comes to mind is Pennywise, whether it's the 1990 version or the modern movie remake. Everything from his iconic red balloon, creepy smile, and overall disturbing visuals has cemented Pennywise as one of horror's most memorable icons. So when I first heard that there was going to be a series called Welcome to Derry, I was looking forward to it. I've always been a fan of this IP, so I was really looking forward to seeing how this new show would expand on the overall lore and the mythology behind Derry. So without further ado, let's talk about it. So far as the making of this video, there are 3 episodes already out with 8 total episodes planned in the first season. So far, the runtime of each episode has been about an hour, so it's safe to assume that the rest of the episodes will follow the same trend as well. The story takes place in 1962, well before the events of the movies. While this series wasn't planned from the very beginning, meaning the films weren't setting anything up for it, Welcome to Derry has done an excellent job so far pulling elements from the movies and expanding on them rather than ignoring or dropping them entirely. One good example of this is the tribe's people. They were only mentioned briefly in It Chapter 2, but the show seems to be giving them a much bigger role this time around, especially since one of the major side characters is a woman from that tribe. It's a great way to build on the world and deepen the lore surrounding Derry. When it comes to the acting, there's really nothing major to complain about. Everyone does a solid job. There's no one dragging down the performances, but at the same time, there isn't anyone delivering a standout or truly quote-unquote wow performance either. I will say the kids occasionally feel a bit over the top and overact during the horror moments compared to their movie counterparts, but that's probably just me nitpicking. As far as the overall story goes, there are 2 main plots we're following. The first focuses on a group of kids being terrorized by Pennywise as they try to figure out what to do and how to survive. Pretty much the classic It setup that we're familiar with. The second plot focuses on a man who just moved into Derry with his family, and he also works with the military. Since this takes place during the height of the Cold War, the government is trying to track down Pennywise with the help of a sidekick because they believe they can actually weaponize him.
Now I will say that this feels a little strange. It honestly feels more like something out of Stephen King's The Mist than from It, because the whole idea of the government trying to capture or weaponize a supernatural entity is a very science fiction trope. Pennywise isn't something you can really contain or study. He's supposed to be more of a cosmic interdimensional force. The horror of It usually comes from a much more personal place, childhood trauma, fear, and the curse surrounding Derry. So introducing the military, sidekicks, and Cold War experimentation pushes the story away from the traditional horror that the IP is known for. What makes it even stranger is how different the 2 storylines feel when placed side by side. With the kids, we're in full-on horror mode, classic Pennywise scares, some atmospheric tension, and that personal emotional kind of terror that It is known for. The military plot feels disappointing in comparison. It almost feels like we're watching 2 different shows that just happen to take place in the same town. Ideally, the series would commit to one tone or find a better way to blend them, but right now they feel pretty disconnected in these first 3 episodes. Personally, I would have preferred if the shows focused solely on the kids like the movies did, but this is the direction the series decided to go with, so it is what it is. I'm still optimistic that the show will get better as it progresses. So far, it's been solid, just not nearly as scary as it wants to be. That might be because I've seen so many horror movies and shows that I'm a bit desensitized, or maybe it's the heavy reliance on CGI which doesn't really create tension or anxiety the way practical events or atmospheric horror can. Whatever the reason, the series hasn't delivered any real scares yet, even though it clearly wants to. Are the visuals disturbing? Absolutely. But are they actually scary? Most of the time, not really. In the 3rd episode, there was a scene where ghouls were chasing the kids, but it definitely came off as more silly than scary, and I can't tell if they purposely wanted it to come across this way. The overall tension and build-up were handled much better in the movies than in the series. It's ironic that with the series' longer runtime compared to a movie, this shouldn't be an issue since there's more time to tell the story, but somehow it is. It makes me think of recent shows like From, which create genuinely tense and unsettling moments without relying heavily on CGI. From builds fear through its atmosphere, sound design, and character reactions. Compared to that, Welcome to Derry's approach feels less effective. perspective.
Of course, it wouldn't be fair to say the whole show isn't good since the entire season isn't out yet. I'm hoping the later episodes will improve, but for now, Welcome to Derry seems like a show that most IT fans can appreciate. But based on the path it seems to be taking, it'll most likely not be as memorable as its movie counterparts, which is disappointing to say the least. Make sure to like, share, comment, and please subscribe. Bye!